Hey guys, this is AC Lockyer, and this is Building a Lifestyle Business, a show where you get to meet some of the Soft Wash Systems licensed affiliates like Joseph Pepin here. I'm trying to do the right direction on the screen. Joseph Pepin here. and figure out, why did they start their entrepreneurial journey? Why did they start a service business, especially cleaning, for crying out loud? And they're going to tell us a little bit about what soft washing with Soft Wash Systems means to them in building this lifestyle business to achieve their life's goals and dreams. But hey, Joseph, very, very cool. You're from Connecticut, or your business is in Connecticut. Are you actually from Connecticut?
Born and raised.
Born and raised in Connecticut. Very, very cool. And so company's name is Clearview Soft Wash, or is it Clearview Window Cleaning?
No, Clearview Soft Washing.
Clearview Soft Wash. Okay. Yep. We've got, I think, 3 Clearviews in our network. Yeah. Yeah. So it's hard for me to keep track of all of them. So you'll have to give me just a little bit of grace. And so you're there in Connecticut. My daughter lives in Connecticut. You know that. We've talked about that. And so I get up there a little more often. Now, Connecticut's not a big state, but my daughter is kind of up in the top central, and you're in the bottom west side of it. So it's not like we can say, hey, let's go out to dinner tonight. It is at least a couple hour drive or so. And so tell us a little bit about yourself that really doesn't have anything to do with business. I like everybody on the podcast to get to know who Joseph is, what Joseph's wife's name is, how many kids he has. Does he have a dog? Does he have a cat? Does he have a turtle? What's the lowdown on Joseph?
Cool. So my name is Joseph, and I'm the owner and operator of Clearview Soft Washing over here in Connecticut. And I have a wife. Her name is Marcy. She is absolutely amazing. I always tell everybody she's my better half by far. And I met her when I was 11 years old.
Wow.
She was, I didn't realize this, but she was standing next to me in all of our class pictures. And she was actually the very first girl I ever had a crush on.
Wow.
What an amazing story that is in itself.
That is incredible.
And we kind of went through a lot of different stages in our lives. And then we kind of met back again about 14 years ago and reconnected. And we have a son, Vincent, who's 17.
Wow.
And getting ready for college, which is, oh my gosh, it's just crazy. We're really, really like closely knit. We do everything together. And we went really on our first vacation this year in 14 years. So,
wow. First vacation in 14 years.
Yeah, well, we did like a couple things here and there. We went down to the Jersey Shore. We try to do that every year or every other year. But we just got back from Italy. So,
wow. So where did you go in Italy? Tell me about it.
We actually we started off in Rome.
Okay.
And then we decided to stay in Rome.
Wow.
We were going to go to Venice or maybe down south, and it was just so beautiful. And Vincent, we figured this would be his last. I figured this would be his last opportunity to do something all of us together before his life gets really busy.
Yeah, for sure.
I really wanted to make sure I gave an opportunity for Marcy to connect with him one last time on a really deep layer before he becomes a man, And so he loved Rome, and there's so much to do there, so much history, and it's a city built on a city, built on a city, and you could just kind of dig in
the layers.
And, yeah. And we ended up staying there for 8 days, so it was amazing.
So my wife and I love Italy, and so we're working our way around Italy, doing different trips and stuff like that. And so it's pretty cool. We went to Capri almost a year and a half ago, and we were the same way. We were supposed to do Capri and then go over to kind of Pompeii, where Mount Vesuvius is, and maybe do a little bit of the Amalfi Coast there. And we got to Capri and we went, we're just gonna stay the whole week here. And and it's an island. It's basically a 2.5 mile island. And we spent an entire week on a 2.5 mile island and didn't even see the whole thing. And so But the one great thing about Italy is the food, man. How did you
Oh,
like the
amazing.
food in Rome?
It was amazing. I mean, we one day alone, we went to 6 different restaurants because
Wow.
they're all set up like right on the road. The cobblestone roads are amazing. And you could just kind of hop from one to the other, and I mean, and the funny thing is, you never feel completely full. Like, no,
Because you're walking
yeah,
so much.
maybe that's what it is. So, a funny story about Marcy and I, we started dating, and I brought Marcy over to my parents' house, and I mean, so my mother, of course, brings out all these old pictures.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so she takes out one from our 5th grade class, and little did we know, we're like standing right next to each other in our class photo. I'm like, wait a minute, that's you.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of it's just very serendipitous. So
Mm.
I'm very blessed. I mean, how many people get to say the things I get to say? It's amazing.
It is
It's amazing.
amazing. That's for sure. And so, yeah. So I'll tell you right now, having a kid in college, we all say, have you ever heard somebody say, well, we're not ready to have children yet. We just can't quite afford it. We're waiting
Mm.
until we can afford to have children.
Yeah.
And if you've had children, anybody in the room that's had children just kind of giggles and goes, like, are you ever going to be able to afford children? And so when they're little, they cost almost nothing. They eat off your plate. You have to buy them clothes. They live in your house with you. They cost hardly anything. They get to be teenage, then they start doing sports and stuff like that. They start costing a little more money, or they start doing travel ball or something like that, or cheerleading competitions. Then they get into high school and they got to have all the right shoes and the right clothes and all this stuff. And they get a little more expensive as they go. And you think when they hit 18, they're not going to cost you any money anymore. No, they are the most expensive they humanly possibly are. Of course, going through college, and then it doesn't stop. It doesn't.
Oh, come on.
You graduate them from college, and they need help. They got to buy a
Yeah.
car. They got to help scrape together a down payment on a house or something like that. You don't stop spending money on your kids till they hit about 30.
Ah, great. Thank you.
So, and
Thank
they
you.
just get more expensive along the way. So
Great.
that was the encouraging portion of our show today.
Exactly.
But you're in the really expensive part, the college part. I mean, college is he going to a state school there in Connecticut?
Actually, he wants to go to Johnson Wales.
Okay.
They have a cybersecurity program there that is connected directly with the government,
Okay.
and Vincent is he has this interesting ability to focus in on one thing and do
Mhm.
it better than anybody I know.
Wow.
And so we sent him away last year to a programming camp so he could learn C++ programming language.
Right.
And so that was in August of last year, and by February of this year, he already programmed his own video game, and he published it on Steam. And so he really likes programming, and
Mhm.
that's the college he decided that he really wants to go to. So we have to go up to Boston in a couple of weeks to go take a look at some more colleges, but maybe Wentworth, but he really wants to go to Johnson and Wales. So
Well, college is very expensive nowadays. And
yes.
so yeah, it's nothing that just in your hours and just the college bill, not the clothes and the
And the
room and
food.
board and everything else, but
Yep.
just the college bill would be 150 grand or better
Yep.
nowadays.
Yeah.
And so, whew, that's a lot of roof cleaning, man.
Yeah.
I remember, just to humanize this for you, and it's part of our discussion today. Why we do the things we do is because we're building these lifestyle businesses, and we have families, we have kids, we got kids to put through college. We're trying to figure out how to afford this. I went completely broke in 2010. Had a really bad family business breakup. Tried to hang in there. Ended up it's just a mess. There's some of it's in my book and stuff like that, and I really homogenize it because I don't want to hurt my dad or anything else like that. And we've repaired our relationship, but but what in essence it did is I went completely broke my daughter's senior year in high school. And so any of the hopes or nest egg or money that we thought we were going to have for college, we didn't have. And then we dreamed about sending our kids back to Abilene Christian University, where we went in Texas, which is a private Christian university, and it's out of state tuition in a private Christian university. And and that school is, it's 35, back then it was $35,000 a semester, you know. And so, it's all said and done, it's 140 grand just paying for the hours and everything. And then you got to, fly them back out there and home for all the holidays. You got to buy them clothes, you got to put fuel in their car and everything else. And it's, it's like a, 170, $180,000 experience. And so we, within a year of going broke, we had to send our daughter out there. And within 4 years of going broke, we had to send our son out there. And our daughter didn't finish, but our son did. And, we spent a lot of money during that period of time when we really didn't have it. And it's because of these businesses. You can literally turn on the gas, you can throttle up or throttle down in your life, depending on what your needs are at the moment. And so I just turned on the afterburners, worked harder, drove all over the country, rang the bell about soft washing, sold more chemicals and all. And my wife would go, "Phew, we just paid for that semester." And we go, "Yay!" We'd move on to the next one. And it was a trip.
We're trying to prepare AC, but it's tough. It looks difficult, but we as an entrepreneur, part of the mindset of being an entrepreneur is you approach the difficult things differently than others,
Right.
And I've always felt like, I've always felt this way of my whole life for some strange reason, but the responsibility of that usually flows to the people who can handle it and away from the people who can't, and that's just a natural law of things. I'm not really sure why, or that's just an observation I've made, I guess. But so we'll be okay, but it looks a little crazy.
Well, I'll tell you this: there's a lot of activities and everything go along with college. A lot of opportunities for you to go up and visit. I did not visit. My kid's college was 1,330 miles away. Boston's not that far away, or New England's a little more condensed up there. I didn't visit my kids as much as I wanted to. I mean, we went every year for homecoming and for their spring activity. It's called Sing Song. So we did go twice a year at least. But man, there's just a lot going on and everything where you can engage and plug in and visit your kids, and they're really starting to, come out of adolescence into adulthood, and you can have some really special conversations and all. So, you're going to blink, especially since I think you just have your one son, just one kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. That 4 years is going to be over that quick, and you're just going to be shaking your head going, where did it go? And so just take your time to smell the roses, enjoy it. And it's a special, special time when your kids are in college.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to it. I mean, Vincent is an amazing kid. Every parent says that about their kids, but
right.
He's intended for some greatness. What that is up to him, but he's just so smart and so engaged, and it's Marcy and I's responsibility to get him at least in the right opportunity for him to succeed. So
cool. So what did you do before you got into cleaning? I don't think that you just started right with Soft Wash Systems. I think you had a cleaning company for a little while. What did you do before cleaning?
Man, AC, I've always kind of like been an entrepreneur, but mostly, I guess the E-Myth, or maybe they call it like I don't know. Not really an entrepreneur. We think we are, but it's like
entrepreneur.
There you go. So, I've run restaurants my whole life. When I was 19 years old, I actually I was a GM of my first restaurant, and I had no idea how I got promoted, other than a couple things that have followed me through my life. But I had no experience. I never managed people, and So I started running restaurants when I was 19. I started with little bakery cafes, and I started multiple restaurants, and then I opened up a restaurant in New York, which failed miserably.
Hmm.
And so I really haven't worked for anybody in particular. Actually, I did. When after all the restaurants were done, I started working for a company in Shelton as they brought me on as like a scheduler.
Okay.
And I identified so many errors in their systems immediately that I just took it upon myself to start correcting all these problems because if you know a lot about small businesses, the biggest, you know, problem most of them have is there's no systems in place,
Right. Yeah.
especially for successful businesses.
Right.
And this business that I started working for was around since 1920s. They're an electrical contractor. I have no understanding of electricity or contracting, but
Right.
I know systems.
Right.
And I know they didn't have any and they needed some. So I started digging into their financial systems, their accounting systems, their scheduling systems, and I realized there were just so many flaws. So I started approaching, all the different ownership about, hey, can we change this? This doesn't look right, And I found something like $17 million on their books in collectibles that no one ever collected.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, because they were on open POs for like PNG and all these huge electrical companies and power grid companies, National Grid, all over the country that the salesman left and the open PO was still open and there was still work that can be done on these. So I they never really gave me a position, AC. They just told me to keep on doing whatever I was doing.
That's right. Did they at least give you a bonus for finding $17 million worth of payables?
They did.
Well,
Uh,
good.
and I got my own office. Not that I really needed it. I was on the
Yeah.
floor. I I have a lot of energy,
Hmm.
which is part of the reason I think they hired me to begin with. But so I started running their production lines. I systemized them. They were involved in a huge corporate takeover. There was a company out of California, and we were the second buyout, which was really kind of cool because I got to meet a lot of interesting people in the process. They sent me to school, back to school. I went to Northeastern University. They paid for it for corporate leadership is what I went for.
Okay.
Uh,
Wow.
and we went from $14 million company to like a $60 million company in like
Wow.
3 months. And they had me traveling across the country looking at other people's systems and showing them what we do because at the time we were the pioneer in that particular industry.
Hmm. Wow.
So, and yeah, it was fun. I loved it. Um, the problem is when corporate takeovers happen, the game changes and the
Right.
rules of the game change. And I think it's, it happened for a reason. I mean, all the things that they were doing were correct, but instead of having 6 production lines, now we end up having 3 because we outsourced some of our production lines to facilities that did specifically what we were doing. So our revenue base started to change a little bit. And eventually when the market shifted and it was we sold the company right after Hurricane Sandy, if you remember that.
Hmm.
And our company was responsible for getting the New York City electric grid back on because we were taking all the 5,000 kV electrical breakers and fixing them, drying them out because they were, waterlogged,
Right.
and testing them and getting that back in. And so, yeah, so I ran those production lines and logistics, and I and created a floor plan for them to ship internationally. We shipped all over the world, even the countries we didn't have treaties with.
Hmm.
But one of my favorite stories about that. Sorry, getting off topic.
No, that's
Um,
great. Makes it interesting.
hey, you remember when when the people stormed the capital of Egypt and the government changed, and Egypt was in like turmoil for like almost the entire month?
I don't remember that. No.
I think it was like 2006, but we
Okay.
had to we had to find a private airport to send like circuit breakers to because their military base was offline during this whole thing.
Hmm.
And so, but anyway, it's
You
we did a
basically
lot of,
smuggled breakers into Egypt.
well, I would say typically, is anybody listening to this? I should be worried. There was no government, AC.
Yeah, there's no
No
government.
government to smuggle it in. It's just, but anyway,
You
but
just
the
got it
story,
done.
we had to get it done, you know. But that's goes back to like I feel like the entrepreneur mindset. Like
Yeah,
you put something in front of me, or you put something in front of an entrepreneur, and you know the questions they ask are different. It's not can we do it? It's just how do we go about getting this done, or how long will it take to get this done, or
right. No, it's just yeah, there's an obstacle. How do I remove it? Let's not cry about it. Let's not have a pity party. Let's not,
Yeah,
sit here and
exactly.
pontificate about it. Let's just get it done. Yeah. Yeah.
So the company ended up going through some financial turmoils, and because I was a non-producing employee, they decided to let me go,
Hmm.
laid me off. And the truth is that I saw it coming. I also kept track of all the financials and numbers, and I reported them to the CEO, or in this case, I guess our site manager at the time, regularly. And so I understood that, what was kind of happening in the back scene. Now, granted, I didn't think I was going to be part of this, this what they thought would be the solution,
Right.
but I was, and I learned something. I learned a couple things very valuable. One is if you're going to get laid off, it's better to be in the first batch of layoffs than the last batch of layoffs
Hmm.
because the compensation packages are a little different when they still have money,
That's right. Yes.
you
Yes.
know? So that was one blessing. And since I saw it coming, I was able to prepare a little bit. So, the two things I think I can do well, um, is I always have a positive attitude.
Hmm.
I know that sounds like something so minor, but all the things that have happened in my life, you know, s- running a restaurant, owning a business, owning a restaurant, even going into work with this manufacturing company in Shelton, I really had no skills to do any of these jobs.
Right.
And I honestly feel the only thing that I had that was acceptable was I had a great positive personality under all circumstances.
Right.
Do you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's the only thing that's carried me through my life.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of skills that you can have, but if you have intellect, if you're strategic and you have a good attitude, you can almost accomplish anything.
Yeah, I agree. And the other talent I think I have is I like to look into the future. I
Hmm.
really enjoy I don't know if I enjoy the planning process completely, but I can see kind of things happening a little bit before they happen sometimes. And I think it gives me a little bit of an advantage. I think that's how I stay positive because if I see what's happening and I could kind of gear myself, then I
Right.
could put together a plan and I'm not stressed about it as
Right.
much.
As much. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really, really agree with that for sure. So, okay, so you've got this work history, you work for this company and everything else. When did all of this kind of come to an end and you decide, I think I want to start my own business again?
Well, I was a window cleaner when I was somewhere in between all that.
Okay.
And I liked the business.
Hmm.
In 2008, when the market kind of changed drastically, I was kind of caught off guard.
Hmm.
We put all I was really young, and I put all of our eggs in one basket or two big clients, and when they
Right.
pulled out, I was in trouble. Um, but I had some window cleaning experience, and when all of this happened, at the company I worked for last, and they laid me off, I knew immediately what I would do. I would just I had to pay my bills, and so I started washing windows again.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I realized then that, as you know, very intimately, I'm sure, it is the worst feeling in the world wondering how you're going to pay your bills, and not even your own bills. I'm okay with figuring out how to pay my own bills, but having my
Right.
family need me
Right.
and I can't be there.
Right.
Like that was one of the scariest things. And so I decided just to go all in cleaning because I never wanted Vincent to ever be an opportunity to feel that way. So
Right.
that he would always have something on the back burner
Right.
to pay his bills for his family in case that ever happened to him. And so that's why and my family was extremely supportive, about it. So I had my father-in-law running my books for a little bit because I was out literally knocking on every single door.
Yeah. Just scraping up business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quite literally knocking
Yeah.
on every door
Yeah.
um, to get things going, and that's got on the cleaning. And I really enjoyed cleaning windows because, well, you know, when you're in a restaurant, you kind of just build sandwiches or build meals and they go out and that's it. It's a very quick paced thing.
Sure. Yeah.
And but with window cleaning, it was always about like that gratification, like and realization, it's really simple. Either the window's clean or the window's dirty.
Right.
There, that's it,
It's either clean or it is not.
Yeah. So and I thought that that kind of business would be really easy to scale.
Yeah.
So I was really wrong, by the way.
Well, I think whenever we say something's going to be real easy, we always underestimate the task at hand.
Yeah.
But what is really hard? Um, so the Bible, there's scripture in the Bible that says God will not give you more than what you can handle. And so when you think of there are things that we've done out there that were more difficult than we would have preferred for them to be, but they were not hard. I think building a business, I think like you talked about, going door to door, literally door to door, trying to get business going was not hard. You just didn't like it. It was uncomfortable. There were things that you would rather do, but it was not hard. And so, but we always underestimate the task at hand, especially if you're an entrepreneur. We always seem to downplay it to sell it. You do that, you kind of downplay things to sell them, and then you get in the middle of it and you go, oh crap.
Every day.
Every day.
Have you been looking for an investor-grade home service business opportunity? Softwash Systems is what you've been looking for. Come to Discover Softwash and discover your potential. Learn how we provide you with the equipment, chemicals, education, and support for your soft washing business. For more information about becoming a licensed affiliate, call our Shield support agents at 855-763-8669 or visit our website www.softwashsystems.com/discover. Join the revolution. Join Softwash Systems.
All right. So you've gone on this journey. You started this company. You're in the cleaning biz, or back in it because you've done window cleaning for a little while. You're into this window cleaning biz. What does building a lifestyle business mean to you? We've been using this phrase a lot at Soft Wash Systems because we're trying to keep people really grounded and anchored in why we're doing this. We don't want our business that we own to become a job to us and stuff like that. We don't want to become slaves to our business. We want our business to be that engine that drives our lifestyle. So what does building a lifestyle business mean to Joseph?
I've been thinking a lot about that actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it really comes down to freedom, AC. Like running a business is super important to me. Like I love it. It's not a job really. It's like it's just part of who I am, But there's things that are more important, like taking time for Marcy and for Vincent. Like
Mm-hmm.
at what point in your life do you realize how many hours you have left with
Right.
the people that you care about? My parents are 80, 87 and 89,
Wow.
How important is it for me to have lunch with them once a week?
Right.
you know?
Yes.
And if I worked anywhere else, I would never be able to do that. Like, people say all the time, live in the dream, oh, I'm living the dream. And there's such a negative connotation to it. And I think it's preposterous. Like we do get to live the dream. we get to decide what we want to do every day when we wake up. If we want to go and cancel all our jobs and take the day off, it's a little ugly, but we can do it,
We
you
can
know?
do it. Yes. Yes.
And that's such a an incredible opportunity we have as entrepreneurs, especially with software systems, because you know the the beautiful thing about what you've done, you know, is that there's a there's a plan in place, and it's not a perfect plan, but you don't have to think about it.
Right.
Like you not that all you have to do, but executing it is really the fundamental part of what software systems is. And that's really beautiful. I've actually, created systems for window cleaning and whatnot. And yeah, they're effective, but they always have to be reworked,
Hmm.
because I'm a 4-year, 5-year entrepreneur.
Right.
These systems are so in depth. It's beautiful. I say beautiful, but it really is, because if I have an issue with anything when it comes to how to run this business, there's an answer somewhere. Now, I didn't know that when I first started with software systems, just
Right.
as an
It
FYI.
takes a little while to dig in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's part of the reason why I came to software systems too. When I was running my window cleaning business, I was literally spinning my own wheels.
Hmm.
I was making $150,000 a year. I was paying my bills, putting a little money away, but not really. Um, and I had this amazing dream of like scaling this business to be like millions of dollars and all this salespeople, and I just couldn't figure out why it wasn't working.
Right.
And so that was in the back of my brain. And then I saw people doing like house washing, and I realized that there's like no professionalism out there. Like the people who show up to some of these jobs, and this was like 4 or 5 years ago, things have definitely changed.
Hmm.
But they're like showing up in ripped jeans and like pickup trucks with like rust falling off and I'm like, wow, there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
started looking into it, and I realized I had no idea what I was doing. And I didn't want to start like soft washing or pressure washing, what I thought at the time, without having the proper training, because then I would have to do the proper training and create those proper systems, and I would set my timeline back even farther. So I finally called Steve over at you guys, Steve
Yeah. Steve
Holgate.
Holgate. Yep.
Yeah, what a blessed soul that guy was. He was so
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
Um, and he kind of explained to me how things work, and then we got the certified applicator, and it took me a little time to get through that. And then COVID came, and everything shut down, and that was it. I knew that was my turning point.
Hmm.
So, and then I realized that the scaling a window cleaning business is challenging. And other people who have window cleaning businesses know it's really hard to create infrastructure. There's just not enough dollars at the bottom. It's really hard to bring in administrators. It's really hard to bring in salespeople. It's driven by owner operator
Right.
in general. Um, and that's what makes it really hard to scale. And it makes it really hard for the owner operator because they have to wear so many hats all the time. So
And going back to what you were saying earlier, you're smart, or you're strategic, and you've got a lot of energy. You're positive, and you said, the one company hired you, you think they hired you just because you're so full of energy, and that's what you needed. You just needed a playbook to take
yeah,
that intellect and that energy, that positive attitude, and apply it towards stuff that was already ready baked, already put together. I think a lot of people, when they come to soft wash systems, you say, okay, why did you get into soft wash systems? Oh, because it's all ready made, it's baked in, it's all ready for me, and I don't have to think about it and all. And then they spend the next 2 years looking everywhere else but soft wash systems. And then all of a sudden, one day the light bulb goes on, and they go, "Oh my goodness, it was all right here."
yeah,
And they say, "Oh, if I just put into place 80% of what AC has planned out here, I'll succeed. I don't need to be looking everywhere else and wasting energy everywhere else. I need to just buckle down and work the system that I bought in for. I bought in because the company's called Soft Wash Systems. Okay. And we put our slogan is we put the systems in the soft wash business, and people go, oh, great, we've arrived. Hey, this is a great place. Let me buy my equipment, our chemicals, our education, our support. Let me jump on board with this. Let me become a licensed affiliate. And then they stay on the hunt when it should be like, no, the hunt is over. Now let's dig in and let's put everything to work.
AC, just to elaborate on that, you're 100% right on. And I'll tell you where it kind of clicked for me. Last year, January, when you made your bold announcement about the affiliate program, and it, it got a lot of people thinking, including me.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that the world is consumed with distraction, AC. Like there is so much distraction out there, and it consumes all of us. Like I when you I don't know if you asked, I don't think you asked, but like cut out all distractions, focus in on software systems. We're here for you. And you said, basically, are you gonna trust me?
Yeah.
And that's it. Like I don't know. I mean, I stopped doing any Facebook. I was part of every single Facebook, group, and every avenue of mixing this chemical with this and doing this. And I don't know why, you know?
I did make that statement. Believe it or not, I got a call 3 weeks later from somebody that was concerned that I was creating a cult.
Nice.
And I went, oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, I am creating a cult. I'm creating an awesome culture, and I'm trying to help people achieve their life's goals and dreams. So thank you very much for that. But yeah, I did say from the stage, I said, you guys are here. You bought in, you bought this equipment, you bought this chemicals. We've all started this thing and everything else. And you're still second guessing the things I'm telling you. And I'm the only person in the exterior cleaning industry that has had a $4.8 million a year company. Okay. And I'm the only person that has ever put together 150 licensed affiliates across the world, all using the same equipment, chemicals, education, and training and everything else. Guys, we've got a plan. And it's, if you either trust me or you don't. If you don't trust me, that's great. We're going to, with dignity, release you now.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you do trust me, it's time for you guys to double down, get focused, get tunnel vision, start working on this business, and I said, basically, do you trust me or do you not trust me?
Yep.
Because honestly, for me, you talk about those hours that you have left in your life. And should you be going out fishing with your dad?
Yeah.
For me, it's should I be going on a long weekend with my wife? Should I be going and visiting my daughter? Should I go on another fishing trip with my dad? Should I go spend time with my son? Hopefully I'll get grandbabies one day. Should I spend time with the grandbabies? Or do I go out and do things for my licensed affiliates? And if I am going to sacrifice the hours that I have left in my life to help you guys build your business, you need to trust me.
Yeah.
And and so it was that moment. So that moment happened, and you said it changed you. What were your revenues kind of like before you really started hunkering down? Has there been a change? Has there been a noticeable change?
Oh yeah. So my blinders are always set in front of me. It's really hard for me to look behind and say, okay, well, this is where it's just not in my DNA.
I don't keep records of wrongs. I don't remember things, and I don't remember last week sometimes. I think we're wired up the same way. Yeah.
So, but I actually recently looked at my numbers year over year, and I did this right before Italy, so like maybe 3 weeks ago. Only because I really wanted to see where our lead flow and where our income flow is. Because when you write a pro forma, you're writing it for like $60,000 every month. But realistically, that $60,000 is sometimes $45,000, and sometimes that $60,000 is $75,000 because you don't make the same amount every month. So I went back, to the last like 6 years to see what percentage of our total income comes in every single month. And what I found was, man, I didn't do anything like 3 or 4 years ago. I'm like, wow, I can't believe what we were able to accomplish even last year. So before before that, we were doing, I mean, 150 to 157,565 we did in 2019. In 2020, we did 207,000 and I don't know, 487.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when and then the pandemic happened and then everything started shifting. So last year we did $407,000 on one truck because, the our second vehicle was totaled in January by one
Mm-hmm.
of our employees. And the year before that we only did about 278,000. So there was a considerable increase once all this distractions melted away. And I have, like I said, I have.
Before my announcement on the license affiliate program and really telling people, listen, please make a commitment or leave, and it's okay. It's okay to leave. It's not
Right.
a bad thing, but make a commitment. The year before I made that announcement, you did 270 something.
Yeah, 278 and change. I'm not sure, eight something or other.
And so the year following that announcement, you did how much?
That was last year, 407,000.
Okay. So roughly about another 130, $140,000. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and AC, it was easier. I don't know how that's possible.
It is. Yeah.
It was easier. I've always, from running restaurants, I know this secret. It's harder to run a business that doesn't do any volume.
Right.
It's actually easier to run a business that is busier because you could get more hands involved,
Right.
you know? So, but yeah, so we went from 278 to 407. Yeah.
And so this year, I know it's still early in the season for Connecticut, but the numbers that you're seeing, where do you think you're going to go this year?
Well, um, I could tell you this much. March, which I hustled like crazy, and all the work I did, not only me, it's not only my work, it's the reputation that all the great people I have working here,
Right.
and they did such an amazing job, and it was a little bit easier last year, and so our best March ever was $17,000, and we did almost $42,000 this year.
Wow. So almost triple your best March ever.
Yeah, it was insane. And we have a little bit of, so April's a little different because I'm still kind of involved in a lot of the aspects of Clearview right now. And I was away for 10 days in April that I chose to do.
Right.
And it kind of threw a little hiccup on things. And but we're still end up about 40, I think we're gonna end about 49,000 this month.
Wow.
And that's basically without me involved, which like is like a really big step forward. I mean, our administrator handled the business. I mean, she's been with me for four years now, and she just took control and made things happen. I'm really proud of her.
Well, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So you're turning the corner now. You've got a team. You're working the model, and we talk about being on model and soft wash systems. What's your end game? Are you going to keep this business and pass it to Vincent one day? Or are you going to, how many more years you got in it? You're going to turn this into a legacy business. You're going to sell it one day. And, what are you trying to achieve? What are your life's goals and dreams? And how is this lifestyle business going to help you get there?
Well, I love what I do, AC. I get to meet a lot of really interesting people, and
Yeah.
in the cleaning business, no one ever talks about it, but we get to see some really cool homes and really cool lifestyles. Like, I was you ever hear of Pedro Martinez, the pitcher for like the Red Sox?
I think I've heard of him. Yes.
I mean, his home was insane. Like he had koi ponds, and that's amazing. So I kind of love like interacting with people and living vicariously through them and helping them. Like honestly, that's where we're different. We actually, because we're a premium company, we have the gift of caring about our customers in a way that's
Right.
not about the money. It's
Right.
actually about the client.
Yeah.
That's
why it's called the service business.
Yeah.
We're serving them. Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't foresee selling my company. Vincent, I'm not sure if this is really what he wants to do. And I opened it, giving him an opportunity to do it if he wants to, and he does help out. And again, it goes back to like our conversation. I thought it was a really good idea when I started Clearview because that way Vincent would never have anything to worry about because I could just run this business until he's ready to take it over. And if he
Right.
doesn't, that's fine too.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
something
you're
said
still a
about
young guy. How old are you?
Oh, I'm 84. I am
Yeah.
45.
You're
46
45.
this year.
So I'm 54. So I'm just, we're not quite 10 years apart, but we're about 9 years apart. And so, yeah, you still got probably 20 years left that you could run this business.
I think I want to retire. I'd love to retire at 50 in the capacity of running the business the way I am running it right now.
Right. Yeah. So you could,
Because,
but you could own this business.
yeah, exactly.
Imagine if you owned this business 20 more years and you're at what you're amateurizing right now is you should be able to do, you're going to break certainly $500,000 this year. You'll probably get closer to $600,000 this year. When you look at what you're amateurizing right now and how much you're growing now year over year, this business is going to be 2 years down the road is going to be over $1 million. 5 years down the road is going to be $2 to $2.5 million. 10 years down the road, it's going to be $5 million. And so you're really building something here that if you ever did get to the point where Vincent's got his own career and he's got a family and he's never going to take it over, and you get to the point where you're just like, I'm ready to go, you're going to have an asset here that you could sell for millions of dollars.
You know what I really like to do though?
And just be done.
You know what I really like to do, and I've thought about this many times?
What would be that?
Yeah. I'd like to, when I'm ready to move on from Clearview, I would like to sell it to the employees. I'd like to make it an employee-run company where they each have a share. I think that that's how I would like to finish off my.
Well, basically, they're buying the company from you, and then they're paying. They got a monthly payment that they send to you, and that's your retirement.
Yeah, but I think
a great way to do it.
Yeah, I think I'd like to give it back to the people who made it happen. That's my thought. So
that's very cool.
But, the truth is, AC, the people that work for us, they don't believe that they have opportunity like we have. But they do.
True. But they
do. Everybody does. Like when I started window cleaning, I went to Home Depot and bought a squeegee. Anybody can do that, You go online, you buy some simple supplies, and you start soft washing. Now, granted, that's only the beginning of your journey, but anybody can do that. So, at the end of all this, in maybe not 5 years from now, but maybe like 10 years from now, I would like to figure out a way to get that in the hands of the company, in the hands of the people who worked, so that they have the same opportunity that I had, and you have, and the rest of our community has.
Well, there you go. And you've said it now. It's on a podcast, so it exists. Yeah. And so everybody's going to hear you now. So it's time to at least contact the attorney, start putting together your plan, start putting together your stock group, and let your employees start to earn in and stuff like that, and put together a plan for that, because one day your team will retire you. Because here's the thing is, I always used to ask people a question with their business. I said, if you got hit by a bus tomorrow, how long would your business last without you? And most people would go, oh, a month, maybe 3 months at the outset, but my business can't survive without me. And so, and I'm trying to remember who it used to say it. Oh gosh, I can't remember his name now. But one of the big business book writers used to say, your job is to get people on your bus, which is your business, and make sure they get in the right seat on your bus. And so I realized one day that if I build my business right, I'm building the bus that one day is going to run me over, run the traffic light, T-bone me, and put me out of my business. And it's okay. And it's okay, because eventually my business won't need me. If you build the business right, if you're a control freak, this will not sit well with you. Okay? But the bottom line is, if you build your business right, you will not be necessary one day. And that's okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, Joseph, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate you. Hey, guys, if any of you guys there in Connecticut and you're looking for somebody to clean something, you want to give Joseph a call with Clearview Soft Wash, You can find them at the Soft Wash Systems website at softwashsystems.com/locations. And you can find any of our licensed affiliates there. Give Joseph a call, bless him with some business. But thanks for being on, man.
Thank you.
All right, guys. And hey, guys, it's AC Lockyer with Building a Lifestyle Business. And as always, go forth and prosper. See you later.